Hi, I'm Malachi Walker.
How long have you lived in Vegas?
I lived in Vegas for 7 or 8 years.
Where did you used to live?
I used to live in Kansas.
Why did you leave?
I left because my dad got a better job and my parents just wanted to not live in the Midwest anymore.
Do you like living in Vegas?
It's not bad. There's a lot of things to do. I met a lot of friends here, but the weather is horrible. It's always hot, always dry, or always just cold and dry.
What are your hobbies?
And the main one's just playing video games, but I also edit videos. I try doing stuff with music. I hang out with my cats.
How many cats do you have?
I got 3.
What are their names?
Piper, Mia, and Furman.
Which one's the shittiest?
Furman.
Yeah.
Imagine Garfield, but just hate.
What's important to you?
Meaningful relationships, like not like fake friends,
Hmm.
like
So,
people that actually care about you.
So friendships are pretty important.
Yeah,
What do your friends mean to you?
my friends sort of mean just like honestly an escape from boredom.
I agree.
Yeah, because normally if I not hang out with them when I just like normally do nothing.
Hmm. What does music mean to you?
Music's just mainly like an outlet for me. It's like if I find like a song I like, I'll play it on repeat for hours, just to vibe.
What kind of music do you like?
Any genre is fine except for country.
What are your favorites?
Punk rock, some rap, lo-fi, stuff like that, really.
What's your current life plan? What's going on?
Graduate college, move somewhere where there's weather, make a living there, hopefully.
What are you going to college for?
Video editing for right now.
What does that give you so that you like it so much that that's what you want to do?
It's work, but it doesn't feel like work. It feels more of as like a puzzle a bit, so it's just like making things look correct.
So it's kind of like it feels like you're fixing it.
Yeah.
Sort of. That's cool. What are you afraid of?
Like physically, I'm afraid of just like honestly like sounds behind me, the dark stuff like that. But like in a more like broad spectrum, it's just like being forgotten. Because like everything you do now is like worthless in a few years.
Yeah. Do you think you have a digital footprint yet, or you think?
Not a digital footprint, but more like a physical one, like people I know.
Yeah. How do you know me? How do we connect?
It was mainly video productions. I knew you sophomore year, but it was more junior year.
Who or what inspires you the most?
Nothing really, no one like anything really inspires me, but it's more just like the goal is just people like the original YouTubers that you would just watch when you were like a little kid that are still around nowadays, like Markiplier, people like that. It's like they're still relevant, they still like adapted to the climate of YouTube.
So you want to be able to like adapt to whatever's thrown at you.
I want to be able to do something now and still be remembered for stuff like that in a few years.
So do you want to keep going and keep progressing, or do you want to like do something that's like so remarkable that it's like still felt years after? Or do you
Both
wanna just keep going?
both would be preferable, but I would want to keep going and growing and like making sure that I keep changing.
Mm-hmm.
Cause staying the same is kind of boring after a bit.
Yeah. All right, I'll give you an easier, less philosophical. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Why?
I like greenery. Kansas is very green. It's a lot greener than Nevada, that's for sure.
Yeah. Do you think it comes from like that's where you lived as a child and that's why it stuck with you?
It stuck with me because of that, but it was because since I have so many brothers, everything we got as kids was color coded,
Mm-hmm.
and the color I always got was green.
Who's the most important person in your life, you think?
In my family, it's my dad and my older brother.
Why?
They're consistently just like good people.
Mm-hmm.
They always want to talk. They always want to do stuff with you. They're very nice. My friends, all of them are really like on the same tier of like importance.
How does it feel to be like a teenager, almost basically adult now, and in a pandemic?
It felt very like relaxing, honestly, for like the last like year and a half of school was just online, but it was also like it shouldn't be relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is like the last years of your life that you're going to have like genuine like freedom from like a lot of things. Because now that you're like an adult, you gotta get your life in order, and it's like you didn't get to learn that stuff in your final year and like get any of like the windows that people normally have.
Mm-hmm. Who's the best teacher you've had?
Ms. Zufall.
Why?
She was just very down to earth. Like she knew what kids were going through, and it was just like, oh, you didn't do this assignment? I understand. You have like a few more days to do it. And she was always also like very fair.
What's your best memory of high school?
It might be the first video production assignment I was actually proud of, and it was like that was honestly like the first intro I made, because it was like I asked people around the class, and they were like, oh yeah, no, that's actually really good, and I'm like, oh, and that kept me going for it. It kept me motivated to make more intros and like actually do things in that class.
Mm-hmm. Do you think like when you create, you're looking for approval?
Yeah, it's like I'm not looking for approval. I'm more looking for someone to look at that, think it's good, and then have that like in their mind, either as like just a thing to remember or just as like a baseline for what they want to do.
So you want to make stuff that, stick with people.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, that's fair.
My main goal, if I ever become like a content creator, is finally get my first piece of like fan art or something like that. Because it's like, man, someone spent their time making something for me because they liked what I do.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty cool. What's one thing you would recommend everyone to do for themselves?
Find something that you enjoy doing that is work but doesn't feel like work. Because it's like you can always feel productive but not feel like overworked.
What about like self-help? Like that's good.
Self-help?
Like
Yeah.
on a bigger scale. But
Yeah. For self-help, it's just like, honestly, just don't take a nap every once in a while if you feel like it. If you feel like you just don't want to do anything for a day, just don't lay in your bed doing nothing. Just like take a nap and wake up refreshed and like face the day after that.
Best advice someone's ever given you?
Don't worry about what other people think of you. Just think about what you think of you.
Who told you that?
My dad.
Yeah. Why would you say that's like the best advice?
Because it's sort of just like, that's how I know that he looks at life. That he doesn't really care what other people think of him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, kind of like motivating me to be like, why should I care about what other people think of me if I'm not hurting anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I might look stupid, but if they're laughing at me now, that's a good memory later on.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself in like 5, 10 years?
Hopefully living on my own, in either like a small house or an apartment, making like steady income, and just like going into like every few days, being like doing something that I want to do instead of like what I have to do.
What's one thing that you will absolutely not do?
I don't ever want to pander. I always want to do what I want to do because I want to do it. I don't ever want to take like if I ever get that big, I don't ever want to take ad deals just for the money. Like if it's like a product that I actually like and use or like believe in, I'll do it. But it's never going to be, oh, this people want me to make an advertisement for them, so I did.
Mm-hmm. Is there like a type of video that you would like refuse like any amount of money?
A video that feels soulless. It feels like it's just there for like the easy clicks, the easy advertisement for someone. I don't think I would ever want to edit that because then it's like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, because you can't put your soul into it.
Yeah, it's like it's like I can't put my soul into it if they're not putting their soul into it as well.
Yeah. What's something that motivates you?
Mainly just watching YouTube, watching all these small YouTubers do what they want to do every day, and just be like, look how much they're enjoying it. It's like, I want to do that someday as well. There's a lot of small YouTubers that I watch. They do like compilation videos that I just do with their friends, and they always seem to have fun like with that. It doesn't matter. They don't ever do it seems for the money. They do it just because it's fun and they want to do it.
What's your favorite word?
Gotta say bruh's stuck with me through thick and thin. It's a nice blanket statement no matter what.
What about a number?
7.
What's the most rebellious thing you've ever done?
The meanest thing I've ever done was like, I always like had this kid like sort of like annoying me in my elementary school in Kansas. So, and one day, I don't really remember why specifically, but he was just doing like too much, and we were like doing like the elementary school thing of like you gotta line up before you go into like side for lunch, and I was standing behind him, so I had just I don't remember really exactly remember why, but I had just ended up choking him out in line. Would I do it again? No. It was just a very mean thing to do, but it was just like that's the most rebellious thing I think I can ever say that I did.
What's the most pain you've ever felt, either physically or emotionally?
My appendix almost ruptured,
Oh.
and
How old were you?
it was like 2 years ago.
Jesus.
So it was like throughout the day I was like, oh man, my stomach hurts. And then I went home and just threw up about 8 times. It felt like it was more like twice, but I think I like passed out. And then my dad's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I'm like, "I just feel like dying." And he's like, "Oh, let's take you to the hospital." They said my appendix was like about to burst. And then like after they sent me home for the day, and I went back, they're like, "Oh yeah, no, you're fine again. You're fine.
Wow.
False alarm. Go back home."
That's like one of my worst fears.
It was horrible.
When my appendix will burst.
Yeah.
'Cause I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah. It was not great. It was a worse pain than getting my wisdom teeth taken out.
What's your dream location to live?
Anywhere with weather, so like Europe someplace. Anywhere with rain, more like it.
You want to have kids?
No.
Why?
No offense to young children, but I find young children very like you have to have a lot more patience than I do for them.
What's your favorite song?
Overall or right now?
Either.
Overall, it is like a song that I will always like is Claire de Lune. It's like an old, it's like a classical piano song. But right now, it is either Down with the King by Good Kid or Lavender by Rav. Those both are just like happy-go-lucky songs.
What's the most important item in your life?
Right now, it's my computer because that's like everything I have.
Does money matter to you?
Well, it has to matter. We live in the glorious U.S. of A. But like it doesn't matter much to me.
Anything you want to add or anything you want to ask yourself? Anything you want to final words to the people?
Final words to the people. I don't know. Like just and try finding one thing to enjoy each day. That's how I get through it. Like if anything ever goes wrong, find one thing to enjoy. One thing to like make you laugh or smile.